Yo, what is good? What is good? Hear me out. I'm in the robe today. I'm real cozy. Let's get into it. I want to talk about the idea of the importance of balance within your life. I tie that into the idea of peace. Um, Growing up, right, and I speak from experience with mostly everything that it is that I do share with you guys is the idea that freedom is the ability to observe anything without attaching yourself to it. And here's why that's sort of my little definition, my little philosophy on the idea of balance and peace. Um, it's because when you're able to observe anything, whether it be an emotion, a feeling, a thought, whatever it is that you're going through right now, the external stimulus within your life, internal stimulus, whatever, you cannot attach yourself to a feeling or a thought or an emotion because it might take you out of that moment, right? And I'm not saying that you can't. It's obviously it's very very profound. It's a thing that happens naturally, and these feelings and emotions and reactions, I want to say, to certain experiences are things that are going to propel you into something new. For instance, if you are scared to jump into a cold bath, um, the fear within you is going to trigger that. It's the idea of going inside and being cold is going to trigger you to not do it. But when you, let's say for me, this is my 1 2 3, 1 2 3, go, 1 2 3, go. One foot in front of the other, go. And once you get into the bath, you find that it's so cold, it's freezing. You gotta catch your breath. It's so uncomfortable. And after a few minutes, not even after a few seconds, you're able to like subside the idea that it's cold, sit in peace and quiet and put your mind to the fact that this is easy. It was just a moment of discomfort. So not attaching yourself to the idea that this thing is cold. It's impossible for me to stay in here. It's little things like this that actually have a domino effect in your day-to-day life that allow you to encounter or excuse me, battle with certain obstacles that you're going through. And I think Jordan Peterson talks about this is called stacking your wins. Um, and it starts with the little things, you know. Um, and it's a beautiful concept. And I implore you to remind yourself that little wins, counting your little wins, they stack up. At the end of the day, you'll have a wonderful, successful day. And telling yourself and reinforcing within yourself that these things are positive. Um, your failures are positive, your obstacles are positive because they teach you something about yourself, and you now learn how to deal with like a multitude of obstacles within your way. I always like the expression, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. It's almost like there's a verse in the Bible, I'm paraphrasing, but it's if you have little faith with little, you're gonna have little faith with a lot, and vice versa. And that's also a beautiful concept within itself. It also is kind of like the idea of detachment and gratitude within just that one moment. Having gratitude towards something that, you know, it might not be what you wanted it to be right now. That's a beautiful thing. And so gratitude also just teaches you it's also actually, excuse me, gratitude is almost like rewiring your brain for the positive. Like you just allowing yourself to be open to abundance because you're putting your heart posture in just a happy and peaceful place, right? And you're allowing yourself to realize, listen, these things that I have are all gifts, right? Because life in itself is the gift. That's a whole different conversation. The importance of balance. So obviously, we are human beings. We are organisms. We are life. We are right. Like we have life within us. We're just a bunch of vibrating cells, right? Vibrating molecules. And now I'm just pondering and talking crap. Anyways, we are an actual living organism. There's things that we need to have balance within ourselves, especially within our diet. But that doesn't necessarily only mean just a food, a diet like eating, eating diet. Like having being vegan or being a carnivore on a carnivore diet. Like it also means the things that you ingest, things that you watch, the things that you listen to, right? It takes a lot to have awareness of all of these things in one. And we get sucked into some things like scrolling. I know I get sucked into scrolling, and most of the times the algorithm is just a bunch of shit posts, and you find yourself in a dark hole of absolutely nothing, looking for some serotonin, looking for some dopamine, and that's also feeding your mind as well, and that's building something with like something sort of a barrier within your head, so that when you finally do get to go out and experience life and do things, especially like just walking in nature, it'll seem so minute, right? It'll seem so like redundant, and these are things we also need to be aware of at times, because we have to disconnect from everything. If in my case, if peace is the ability to observe anything without attaching yourself to it, then that idea of receiving dopamine from a cellular device, a game, something that's just not serving you in the best way possible in the moment. At times, it's really good to game. You get yourself away from reality. It's okay to scroll. It's not a negative thing. It's not the devil. But at times, it's really just numbing your spirit. You know what I mean? And this is it's imperative that you understand what kind of effect it has on your body, on your on your physiology, excuse me, on your psychology, and that ties into just having balance within yourself, knowing who it is that you are, knowing is what it is that you do. If you work a lot, um, if you if you don't have a lot of time to yourself, you need to be able to understand and maximize the time that you do have, and operate around that time. And that leads me into the idea of being pure with your intention from your heart, right? Living out what it is that is in your heart, because you don't want to be scrolling all day if you have something that you're passionate about, right? Unless what you're passionate about is scrolling all day. What you're passionate about is gaming, right? If you have a passion within your heart, you want to see that come to life. You want to see that dream unfold in reality. And so these things are not going to happen by you just sitting around and not actively chasing that, not actively pursuing it. And so that's the idea of the one foot in front of the other. That's why I kind of emphasized that to be the first thing that I did, because this road is not easy. It's tough. There's a lot of barriers that you have to break through, and a lot of the times it's barriers that you set for yourself. You have to learn how to navigate within yourself, learn how to navigate the world around you, and find a balance that you're capable of operating at a steady speed. And times it's gonna go up and down. You're gonna feel good. Sometimes you're gonna feel bad, but that's just life. That just happens. You know, uh, a pulse would be dead if it just is stagnant, right? Respectfully, a pulse goes is up and down, and that's what life is. Life is just a pulse, and finding a rhythm and finding a balance. And that's a beautiful idea. I came off the top with that. Jesus Christ. So being able to find balance is in my head, in my eye, in my mind, right? Is the ability to be able to communicate with yourself, with the people around you, and with God. Not only communicate, but be honest. Being honest with yourself, being honest with the people around you, being honest with God, right? Because you can't lie to God. You know what I mean? You can't lie. God knows your heart. So it would be a disservice to not be honest with yourself. It would be a disservice to not be honest with everybody around you. You know what I mean? And I feel like the tier list is God, yourself, and then other people. You know what I mean? And if you're operating from the purest point in your heart, the purest intention, then who can judge you? Who can judge you if you're operating from the purest place within your heart, right? And I see these things very lightly, with no sort of boundary, no sort of routine way to express it, because everything looks different for everybody. And that idea itself is something that I cherish, like having communication with God, and that looking very individualistic, like that being very individual to who it is that you are. A lot of people try to speak on how it is that they perceive God within their lives and how God communicates with them and what happens in their life. And it's a beautiful testimony, and I respect everyone's ideas and experiences as well, because that's what's going to propel us forward, is knowing, you know, knowing history and being able to thwart it and change it. But you have your own relationship with yourself, and you have your own relationship with the people around you, and you have your own relationship with God. And that's something that you need to foster, and that you need to be able to say, hey, maybe I'm lacking in this area. Maybe I need to pray more. Maybe I need to read the Bible more. Maybe I need to just talk to God more. Maybe I just need to worship God more. You know what I'm saying? And worship is just living out the most authentic life that you can in your purest from your heart. So that's again something that I believe in. And we can't achieve these things without applying ourselves practically, you know, taking the time out of the day to recognize that maybe I'm not having a good day. Taking the time, excuse me, out of a moment where you could be angry, you could be feeling a certain emotion, you could be feeling under the weather. But even so, you grasp yourself within that moment, you grasp the thoughts that you're having, you submit them to God, you allow yourself to be aware, and you say, that's not where I'm at right now. Because I want balance, I want peace in my life. Anything that isn't breeding life in my within me or around me is something that I don't necessarily have to put so much energy in towards. And if it is, then it's gonna be the energy that allows for me to maneuver this situation correctly. You know, I talk about balance, I talk about peace, and it takes a lot. It's not an easy thing. So I just want to remind you that it really takes a practical application of discipline, of awareness, of love, right? Of grace, and a plethora of abundance, excuse me, an abundance of things to maintain peace within yourself. But you know what that looks like. And if you don't, you should find it sooner than later, because it's going to get you further than anything else. Because once you have a heart and a mind that's impenetrable, and you allow yourself to just openly surrender to God and move freely within your faith, you have the armor of God, the shield of God, the sword of God, right? And it's a beautiful thing. Like, I've existed on that plane, and so many times I feel as if I was just in a higher consciousness, and I was just moving so swiftly, and I want to get back to that, and I hope that everybody can experience that. It's almost like being high without having to take any substances. You know what I'm saying? High off life, and that's a real thing. It's not a fake thing. It's so true, and it's so freeing. And it's not to say that you should settle for anything in your life, that you should just be this snail or hermit and not achieve or have a drive to do things outside of yourself that you envision, that could potentially be the biggest thing that you've never seen, right? You haven't seen anybody around you do what it is that you want to do. You know what I mean? You haven't seen people around you be in balance or in peace. But it's very possible. It's very, very possible. It takes a lot, but all you have to do is apply yourself and know yourself, learn yourself. And how do you do that? Well, you go out, you try new things, you be who you are in these new areas of your life. Doesn't matter what it is that's happening. Be yourself. You be honest with yourself, with God, with the people around you. You don't allow yourself to attach anything to any experiences that you're going to have and that you have had. Anything that's happened in the past is because it needed to. Anything that will is because it's going to. And it's all the natural. It's natural. It's life. And that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a pleasure to suffer. Really. It really is, because that means you're alive. That means you have a pulse. That up and down, yes, you have that. Oh yeah, it's there. Anyways, I'm yapping, I'm talking, I'm walking in circles with my words at this point. I just want to say that anything that you put your mind to, you can achieve that wholeheartedly with love and with respect. Be at peace and keep that and maintain that. Tend to your garden because that's your responsibility and no one else's. It's not up to nobody to tell you how to feel, to make you feel better. It starts within first, and then you can see that reflect in your reality, and that becomes a beautiful thing. And I want to remind y'all that all things are possible through Christ who strengthens us. Chat, I love you so much. I appreciate y'all so much because y'all could have been anywhere else in the world, but y'all came to chill with the boy. Peace, love, prosperity. God bless you. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night whenever you are seeing this. God bless you. Peace.